Hello, this is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I would like to go over the updates from the CDC on the H5N1 highly pathogenic avian flu. So, before I do that, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and help support my work. One way to support my work is to donate. You can donate through Stripe, PayPal, or buy me a coffee. Just click the links here and it'll take you to the donation page. So please support me that way. You can also support me by being a paid member to my Patreon channel. I have 4 different membership levels. Membership level 2, 3, and 4 also get some lectures from my immunology and pulmonology lecture series. You have different access. Uh, Another way to help support my work is making sure that you subscribe to all my channels. I have 7 channels. I have 4 on YouTube, Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble. So please subscribe to all of them. Because I do get strikes on YouTube, it behooves you to actually subscribe to all my channels to make sure that you are getting the latest information. In addition, you can purchase those classes and get PDF files and video lectures to each of those PDF files by purchasing the lecture series for pulmonology for $50. For $50, you get about 22 lectures with PDF files and videos. Once you purchase the module, you'll get a unique password to access those classes. In addition, I also have for $50 immunology classes. There are 15 lectures that you can look at here. I have just uploaded the hypersensitivity lecture. The next one that will be uploaded soon will be the transplants lecture. So what will happen here is each business day or so, I upload a new lecture. You learn a lot about the way the body works, and in this case, how our immune system works. What's in the module right now is the innate immunity, T cells, B cells, complement, lymph node and spleen, and hypersensitivity. And again, these lectures here will be uploaded in a short while. So please go to the store and purchase the immunology lecture series for $50 or the pulmonology lecture series for $50. In addition, I have lots of different products on my store. I have ebooks that you can purchase. I have 8 ebooks and dealing with finance, dealing with genomics, dealing with endocrinology. I wrote a book about my perspectives on artificial intelligence. So you can learn a lot. In addition, I have nano silver products, toothpaste, liquids and gels, soaps and lozenges. I also have a probiotic, multivitamins. Some items are sold out, but I'll be getting in stock shortly here. Now, the C60, I have it in 2-ounce, 4-ounce, and an 8-ounce configuration. I have it in extra virgin olive oil, MCT coconut oil, and avocado oil. So this is a very strong antioxidant. So please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get the products. All the links of for my store, for my podcasts, for Apple Podcast, for Podomatic, for the different channels are in the links in the description box of this video. I also have a plethora of different supplements, D3, vitamin C, omega-3, ashwagandha, goodnight formula, probiotics, resveratrol, B complex, vitamins, turmeric, magnesium and zinc, lignans, which is very important to boost up your immune system, collagen, digestive enzymes, and clarity factor. I also have all natural deodorants in citrus, peppermint, lavender, and tea tree, and a skincare bar that helps to reduce pain, itching, uh, helps wounds, and helps to smooth and rejuvenate the skin. I have anti-aging boxes at different price points. So for example, the advanced anti-aging box has Health Max 35, C60, 2-ounce, D3, vitamin C and magnesium toothpaste, deodorant, and a probiotic. So please go to the store and get the anti-aging boxes. And again, if you'd like to help support my work, please donate through Stripe, PayPal, or buy me a coffee, or be a paid member to my Patreon channel. And that helps support my news coverage and allows me to have most of my videos free to the public. Thank you for your support. Please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get the products that I offer, especially the health products to help boost up your immune system, slow down the aging process, and for you to move towards your journey of improved health. It is important to mention that my protocol to slow down the aging process and to improve your immune system has some key pillars, and that is neutralize pathogens, bring down free radicals, and bring down inflammation. That's the core. All right. So, and then there are other products that you add to help boost that. So to neutralize pathogens, get the Health Max 35 or the Health Max 14 or the pH balance solution. That will help to neutralize pathogens. In addition, you take a teaspoon of that a day or a tablespoon if you're not feeling well a day, or take 2 a day. For the C60, take a teaspoon of this every day to help to soak up those free radicals. Now, for the protocol for the supplements, the other supplements, D3 will help to do the apoptosis of an infected cell. Omega-3 will help to keep the lipid profile down and help to prevent stickiness of the red blood cells. Ashwagandha will help to keep the glucose levels in your blood in a proper range and reduce inflammation. Turmeric will bring down inflammation as an antioxidant. Lignans will boost up your immune system. It's a powder you take every day. Digestive enzymes helps to break down carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. It will also help because it is proteolytic. It's going to help to break down glycoproteins, and it also has a fibrinolytic compound, and that basically means that it will help to break down a clot. So those are the core to the protocol to help you get through, especially the problematic era post 2020. So with that said, let's begin with the dashboard. Now, from the CDC, we still have, now I'm recording this on 6/24/2024. We have 4 human cases, 3 cases this year, and 1 case in 2022. The 3 cases this year are from dairy cows. The case in 2022 was from poultry. No cases of human to human transmission. So this year we've had 3 cases where it's from dairy cows to humans. Now, as of 6/18, the detected wild birds is just under 9,500. And the affected poultry has gone up as of 6/20, and it's now at 97,127,586. Now, this report basically is saying that there's 1,154 outbreaks on poultry farms, and that the potential number of birds affected are over 97 million. So it is going up, and the chances of this affecting the food supply is increasing. A lot of the new outbreaks are coming from Minnesota. Okay. So, we're talking about, it's interesting that even in Minnesota, North Dakota, there's a clustering that's taking place here. But that's with the wild birds. I'm sorry, with the poultry, not the wild birds, the poultry. So the next area of concern is that there's now 12 states that have dairy cow outbreaks. There's 118 cows that have been detected of having this H5N1. And I've changed the graph here. So we have Texas, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 there. There should be 12. Where's the 12? This graph isn't last 30 days. What's the total outbreak? They changed the graph here, so it's processing. Should say 12. Of course, the CDC takes a long time to process this. Yeah. So the latest increase, is coming from Colorado, Iowa. Some of it is coming from Minnesota, which is interesting because that's also where the poultry is coming from. Okay, so we have 12 states for total, even though this graph hasn't updated. And we have 118 cow herds affected. The CDC website is a little clunky. They've been updating it, so unfortunately, that's the way it is at this moment in time. But the key here is that the number of birds detected have gone up. The poultry affected or potentially affected has gone up substantially since I've been doing these recordings. And I think the last time I did a recording, it was 93 cows affected. Now it's 118 cows affected. Again, human to human transmission, non-existent. And the transmission from dairy cows to humans, very low. All right. So in terms of, should people be worried about catching H5N1, highly pathogenic avian influenza? No. But if you live on a farm, and you're working with dairy cattle or poultry, your chances of getting it have increased, but it's still low, especially if certain precautions are made. And the transmission from wild birds to dairy cows or wild birds to poultry is relatively stable. I mean, there's not like gigantic outbreaks. There's 1,000, again, there's 1,154 outbreaks. But as I think my last recording, I think it was at 1,149 or 47 or something like that. So, I mean, it's not like gigantic numbers of outbreaks, growing day after day or week after week. But this is a misleading number. This is not the number of birds that actually have been tested positive. These are the number of birds that potentially could be affected by an outbreak on a farm. So that's the problem. Now, there's very low human to human transmission or even animal to human transmission. The big risk is that the government coming in and telling the farms that they have to kill their flock or they have to kill their cattle. Most likely in certain areas, certain states are going to have that protocol. We are hearing that with Australia. So the chances of it affecting the food supply is increasing. I know in New York that it's harder to find certain types of eggs and certain type of milk, especially if you are ordering from Fresh Direct. Now, for people that don't know about Fresh Direct in New York, Fresh Direct basically delivers. So a lot of groceries in New York are purchased online, right? So some online items are being hard to find, are either non-existent or it's becoming harder to find. But that's just New York. I don't know in your other areas, in suburbia or in rural America or even in other places in the United States if you're seeing the same problem. I'm just saying from New York's perspective, through online ordering, certain eggs and certain types of milk are harder to find. So I suspect that we're going to have probably higher chicken prices. I'm not so sure there's going to be higher red meat prices. I doubt that. And there may be some elevation in milk prices. Eggs probably are going to be also a problem. So if this keeps on increasing and the government comes in and tells the farmers that they have to kill their flock, then we're going to potentially have a shortage of chicken and eggs in the market for at least, I don't know, the duration of a chicken. I mean, at least for a year, I guess. But it's starting to become problematic in terms of a food supply issue. In terms of health to humans, I think it's very, very, very low. And in terms of health to livestock, transmission from wild birds to these animals is low, especially with dairy cows. But it's starting to become more elevated risk for poultry. But again, we don't know what all we know is outbreaks on a farm that has a certain number of chickens or turkeys, right? And so we don't know really what the positive cases really are for birds affected on these farms. We can only estimate based on the flock size. So I feel that this is a bit overstated. And the question is really how bad are the flocks? But, people are mentioning on YouTube that there are farms that are concerned about their flocks being killed off. And, and we're already hearing cases of kind of like a biosecurity that's happening for highly pathogenic avian flu H5N1 in Australia. So this may become a problem for livestock, especially chicken in the United States. That's where the concern is. Now, I have mentioned in a previous video that most likely this is a zoonotic thing. All right. It's definitely not supercharged version of H5N1 because the NA protein is not truncated and the replication complex doesn't have the pantheon of mutations that are needed for it to be problematic for humans. That has been created in the laboratory, but this is not what that is. What is out there right now affecting these chickens and cows, wild birds, doesn't seem to be the supercharged version. My concern is that since this outbreak is so close to the 1997 variant from Guangdong, that this is probably zoonosis, but you can release something that's supercharged into the wild at different stages, different supercharged mutations levels that make it seem as though it has been naturally mutated in the wild. So there are different supercharged versions in the laboratory. There's the 1997 variant of H5N1, and then subsequent different mutation versions. Well, you can take an early mutational version that is not that far off from the original 1997, right? That has a little bit more infectivity and release it out. But for it to really be problematic for humans, it has to have some supercharged capability. And you would have to release multiple times to make it seem as though a zoonotic event just mutated itself into superchargedness. Okay, we would have to see it build up, in some sort of continuous way. So the chances of it happening is low for some sort of supercharged release from the laboratory. But it can happen. They could use this as cover to hurt the food supply and just say this is just a zoonosis event. Most likely what we're seeing here is a zoonosis event, okay? But it's mixed probabilities. But what we're seeing most likely is just zoonosis because there's no supercharge. But it doesn't mean, right, that someone didn't release it. Just the probability of it is low compared to probably something that's just a natural phenomenon. If we start to see key mutations in the replicase complex and or the truncation of the NA protein then of its stalk, then you're starting to move towards this concept that there's a release, at least a secondary release on the backs of a zoonosis event, or that they release something in wild birds that made it look as if it was zoonosis because it was so close to the 1997 variant that it would be hard to prove otherwise. So my concern is it's affecting the food supply potentially. I'm already seeing problems with supply of certain types of eggs and milk in New York. We're already hearing farmers saying that they're concerned about their flocks being killed off. We're already seeing problems in other countries about killing off livestock for some sort of biosecurity. So the potentiality of food shortage for certain types of foodstuffs, that probability is going up. And that I'm concerned that if this is an orchestrated event, that there's going to be a release of the supercharged version, and they're going to try to do it under the radar because everyone's thinking that this is zoonosis. No one has proven that this event is not zoonosis. The version that is floating around is so close to the 1997 that it looks like it's zoonosis. There's a small probability that it's possible that it was released, and to see if it would just take hold. And then if it takes hold, even with low numbers like we're seeing here, with the 118 dairy cows and only 1,154 for outbreaks for poultry, right? Even though this number seems to be inflated, we don't really know what the true case number is for that. That they will use that as a means to release something that's more supercharged. So there's two things that possibly could happen. Zoonosis, release this under the disguise of zoonosis that's supercharged, release something that's supercharged, or it's zoonosis and this thing's just going to die out, or they release this that has a very close lineage to 1997 H5N1 with the understanding that this is going to be a 2 or 3 phase process and that a supercharged one would be released and hurt the livestock and potentially get into the human population with human to human transmission. If the supercharged version is released, human to human transmission is going to take place. If they release things that are less supercharged but deviate from the 1997 variant, then you're going to have more disruption in the livestock. More livestock will get affected, and more of a push to cull the herds and the flocks. That's the big worry. So it's really important that you pay attention to this. It's low probability at this moment in time for a human to human transmission, super low probability. Still low probability of from animal to human transmission. All right. But that doesn't mean that this cannot emerge into a bigger problem. On the docket, seems as though the big concern at the moment is how it's going to affect food supplies and food costs. But if another thing is released, or they use this as an opportunity to release something that affects livestock, but not humans, because you got to remember, in the laboratory, they know what mutations will affect livestock only, and they know what mutations will affect humans too, for human to human transmission. They know though that mutational data. And they could easily release a lower supercharged version from the 1997 lineage that affects animals more than what is out there right now. That's the concern I have. So, if you can, not everybody can do this, but it may make sense to perhaps, buy in bulk meats, and, just to prepare for a potential increase in prices for chicken. And follow my advice. It is important, independent of this event being a release or a zoonosis, independent of this event, it's important to boost up your immune system. It's important to get yourself healthy. All right. Because with a more robust immune system, the better off you are going to be. Even if there's nothing that happens related to this event in your life, just boosting up your immune system and getting healthier is going to be paying dividends in the long run for your health. All right. How do you do that? It's proper diet, stay away from GMO foods, stay away from processed foods, eat more, vegetables and have a proper diet. All right. Stay away from the fast food, but it's proper diet in moderation, proper exercise in moderation, right? That's balancing, that's stretching, that's walking, that's a little bit of aerobic and a little bit of weight training. Don't be running marathons. You don't need to be running marathons right now. And just, low intensity exercise regularly. Balancing is really important, and stretching, especially, activating that cerebellum. Learning new things, reading and writing, and staying away from vitriol, staying away from toxic, social media. Be positive. Become a little bit more spiritual or meditative. You don't have to be religious, but meditative or spiritual, depending on your religion. But a little bit of that spirituality or meditation will help with health. In addition, it's about proper supplementation. And like I was saying, it's important to follow the protocol. That protocol is structural nanosilver liquids and gels. Take a teaspoon of the structural nanosilver liquid every day to neutralize pathogens and to help to boost up your immune system. If you're not feeling well, take a tablespoon or two a day. Take C60 regularly. C60, what it will do is soak up those free radicals. By soaking up those free radicals, you're going to have less cellular stress. You're going to have more energy because your mitochondria are going to be healthier. And in addition, because your mitochondria, there are a lot of mitochondria in your neurons, you're actually going to have better neural health. In addition, take D3 to help get rid of cells that need to go into apoptosis. Omega-3 will help to keep the red blood cells from sticking together and will improve your lipid profile. Digestive enzymes will be proteolytic to get rid of glycoproteins. And also, my digestive enzyme complex can help to break down clots because they're fibrinolytic. The turmeric will bring down an inflammatory response, bringing down those pro-inflammatory cytokines. And also, it's an antioxidant. Ashwagandha helps to control your blood glucose levels and bring down that inflammatory response in the vascular system. So if you and taking lignans, it's a powder, take that every day and it'll help to boost up your immune system so you're improving your innate and adaptive immune system. By doing that, by looking at this from a holistic point of view, proper supplementation, proper diet, proper exercise, proper challenging your brain by reading and writing and talking to people, proper stretching and balancing exercises. When you do this holistically, then what will happen is you're going to see major improvements of your health. You're going to slow down the aging process, and some ailments that you may have had may be mitigated, if not completely alleviated. So please listen to me and take my advice and go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get the supplements to help boost up your immune system, slow down the aging process, and get yourself into a healthy mode. In terms of the H5N1, for human-to-human transmission, extremely low. For animal-to-human transmission, extremely low, even if you're on the farm. The problem is that the number of poultry are increasing, the number of dairy cows are increasing, the number of birds detected with H5N1, highly pathogenic avian flu, are increasing. And that because of that, there may be food shortages because the government may come in and start killing off poultry and potentially even dairy cows. So food shortage is a possibility. Food cost rising is a possibility. In addition, what is also possible is that they can use this as means to release something else that can hurt livestock even more than what is happening right now, and or release something that also causes more human-to-human transmission or animal-to-human transmission. It's concerning. There are low probabilities for them releasing something else if that's on the agenda. I think that's low probability, but it is possible. So it behooves everybody to just pay attention to the news and watch how this is being orchestrated. It is strange, more than strange, that this is happening in an election year. So that kind of leads to the idea maybe that a variant of 1997 in the laboratory was released that's causing this. We don't know. We don't know for sure, but it's possible. Because if you look at it from a socio-economic perspective, the timing is suspect, especially going into November as an election year for the United States. But that could be just a coincidence, and this is zoonosis, and so we have to err on what's the data showing? And the data showing this is very, very, very similar to 1997. It seems that this is zoonosis, but it's possible that it was released to create some sort of worry in the public, of influenza, have them worry about influenza and have them, worry about the uptick of livestock and affect them, from the pocketbook. And maybe that's all this is going to how this is going to play out. No one really knows for sure. You got to look at this from a probability standpoint. What's the data show and what are the probabilities? And when the data changes, those probabilities change and gets you closer to what really is happening. So there's a concern, there's a possibility that what is happening could have been a 1997 lab manipulated with minor mutation release of this, of this outbreak. But there's a higher probability that it's most likely zoonosis. That's the key that I want to make a mention here, that it's not so cut and dry. When you don't know, you can only apply probabilities to different paths. And through further data that comes in, through further investigation, through further knowledge, you are able to hone in on those probabilities better and understand where this is going. So hopefully this just dies out. I suspect it's not. I'm a little concerned that the dairy cow numbers are increasing, and the affected poultry are increasing. But again, the affected poultry number may be overstated. So thank you for listening. Please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. The link is in the description of this video. That is the-studio-reykjavik.com. Please subscribe to all my channels. I have 4 channels on YouTube. I have Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble. Please subscribe to all those channels. I have also Apple Podcast, and I have podcasts on Podomatic. Links are in the description of this video. Please subscribe and follow me there. If you would like, please help support my work by donating through Stripe, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee. You can donate through those links on my website on the homepage, or you can be a paid member on my Patreon channel. That way you help support my work and you learn a little bit on how to improve your health and to navigate through some of the nefarious activities that are happening in our news. Thank you for listening. Again, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.